that scent. You're another one of those nobodies.
You've done well thus far. But to possess your powers and yet fear the darkness, what a waste.
I do not fear it.
I sense that you do. You're also capable of controlling the darkness. Cast away your useless fear. Open your heart. Embrace the darkness.
And if I say no?
Then you lose both light and darkness. And disappear. I, Lexaeus, will not yield to the frail heart of an infantile coward. Now, stop resisting. And let the darkness in!
You're finished!
Don't mock me! You were too much trouble. Too slow. You are the superiors. Forgive me, Zexion. This was a fight I should not have started.
Huh.
I see you now. Clearly.
Huh? Lexaeus?
Riku, I can see your heart.
No, it's not. Darkness this foul could only be...
That's it. Remember me. Let me drift into your heart.
Ansem!
You called out my name. You have been thinking about me. You're afraid of the darkness I command. Good. The more you think of me, the closer my return draws. And when I have awoken, I will take hold. Your heart will be mine!
Riku, fight! Don't let him win!
Your Majesty!
You meddlesome king!
The king. He protected me. Your Majesty? Where are you? Please answer! You're with me, aren't you?
Okay. Okay. Hello, guys and gals, and welcome to yet another post-boss script that we're doing. Well, it's not scripted, but here's... Hello, guys and gals, and welcome to yet another post-boss review section that we don't do all that much because, well, to be honest, in order to, do the commentary, it needs to be interesting enough for me to talk about. And in Chain of Memories, that's unfortunately kind of few and far between. The game itself is actually pretty interesting, but boss-wise, not really in the grand scheme of things. And mostly because that's the fact that Square Enix is repeating basically the entire game of the original Kingdom Hearts. And therefore, all the bosses are stuff we've already seen before, because this game was just... I guess when it was portable, it was made on the cheap, so they didn't really have the time to make a bunch of unique things, so they just stole all the assets from the original game. But Lexaeus here I want to talk about for a particular reason, and that's because Lexaeus is by far the most forgettable of the organization members, which is really weird when you think about it, because across the span of the games where the organization is actually active the most, which is 2, 358, and this game, Lexaeus doesn't do anything. And the organization members are actually defined by being very unique and personality-driven between all of the members. Like, they're all their own person. Lexaeus is the weird outlier because I don't know if Square Enix just ran out of gas when they went to make him, or they just didn't really have a good place for him to fit. But it seems like Lexaeus here was very mishandled, and maybe was only created to fill a 13th spot so that they didn't end up with 12. And when they overcorrected, and they actually ended up with 14 members instead of 13, but that's another story. Lexaeus is weird because it seems like if they put effort into the guy, then he probably would have done fine. Like, he has a personality that he can work off of, and obviously he has his unique weapon and his ability type, which is just to, like, generate infinite physical power, which would have been interesting, but as we'll get into a little bit later, it just doesn't work. Lexaeus is at his most defined in this game, which is really bad because in 358 and 2 he's not mentioned. Probably because he just kinda died in his first encounter with Riku. Well, when Riku got powered up by Ansem's darkness, but he did get killed. Before then, he was defined by being obviously super strong, he was competent, which is surprising, well, I guess not as surprising, because being generic and competent just ends up being really boring, I guess. But he's capable, he's competent in battle, he's very strong, and therefore, back when he was Alias, I'm pretty sure that was his name, he was basically one of Ansum's bodyguards, along with Zoldan, or whatever his actual name ended up being. But he was one of those two guys who was in the dark blue and red robes, and basically just protected the laboratory in the prequel stuff before they turned into nobodies. So, yeah, that's a good character that you can work with, but they didn't do anything with Lexaeus. They gave him one shot and he fucked it up. It's the only time we see this guy do anything is with the Riku part, and again, all he's doing is just being a bodyguard for the other members of the organization who happen to be at Castle Oblivion, who end up being the organization's B team. So it's just kinda complete missed potential on the guy. Like, he's got everything that he needs to be a character, but Square Enix didn't do anything with him. And what ends up hurting him worse is that his gimmick makes no sense. Because in the two battles that you get with him, and probably in the data fights later on, but I never did any data fights, so I don't know, he's supposed to be on a separate unique meter where he's constantly gaining physical power, and therefore it should be affecting how powerful he can be and how much damage he's dishing out. But blocks and block powers and defense abilities from Kingdom Hearts 2 and this game can kind of nullify everything he does, so it doesn't matter if he's up to infinite power, because you can just either guard against his attack or roll out of the way. It's not really super dangerous as it should be, because there are things in the game that can completely circumvent getting hit by him at all, if you're actually good at the game. So that's kind of why Lexaeus kind of gets missed out, because he didn't have an opportunity to do anything, and Square Enix didn't give him anything to do. And in Organization 13, that is a really odd thing to do, because think of the people who are the weakest of the bunch, and some of them are the best characters. Demyx is one of the most memorable because he's completely annoying and a total wimp. Larxene is just a bitch the entire frickin' time. Xion is obviously super memorable. Zexion even in this game, he's given more to do and more personality because he's supposed to be super intelligent and kind of managing what everyone's doing kind of under Marluxia, and he's supposed to be running security for the actual castle project. Like, he's supposed to be on the lookout for everything. And then in Kingdom Hearts 3, when he becomes the Enzo, he's given a ton of stuff to do and way more personality. So even Zexion, who, again, is another one of the members who you'd struggle to remember, is given more to do. So, again, it's not a fact that, Square Enix couldn't have done something with this, but maybe when they were writing him down, they just kind of forgot about him, and therefore the entire audience forgot who Lexaeus was, which I think is kind of a shame, because the organization is one of the best things that ever happened to Kingdom Hearts, and gave us 13 unique personalities with different motivations that are really interesting watching them interact and kind of drive the plot forward, because they're all trying to do their own things, and we all need to try and figure out, okay, who are these guys as individuals? Lexaeus dodges all of that by being a nobody figuratively, because we don't know anything about him. He doesn't do anything. All we know about him is that he's a good bodyguard, and he can't build a character off of that. So, Lexaeus, I'm just sorry. Like, I wish they would have done more with you, because you got the makings of a great character, but why the hell did you get forgotten? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense in the period of Kingdom Hearts development when they were the most driven and had the most pride in what they were actually creating in the nobody chapter of the game.